Alrighty, welcome everyone to our monthly community meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started since everyone seems to be showing up now. So first off, we've changed up how things go. So the community meeting is going to be very much focused on relaying information from our staff and our other departments on what is going on and what changes are coming, what feedback you guys have given us, and what we can do better as a community for all of you. And so how this is going to go is I will start it off, and then we'll go to Floppy, and then if Floppy's able to talk at that time, otherwise we'll go to our development team, and then and then it would be admins and mods, which Floppy was also going to touch on, but again, depends on if he's able to talk at that time. And then our head of support, which is Flora. Then our PD, which is Justin Creed, and Bidwell, if he has anything to say. And then fire department, which is Yuri, and then our DOJ, Ezekiel, and then we'll follow up with any questions. I've posted a form in the chat. If you guys have any questions or feedback that come up during the meeting, please post it through that Google form so that we make sure we see it and can address it. Otherwise, it may get lost if you just put it down in the chat. And so we ask that you please use the Google form, and we'll post it throughout. Alrighty.
We'll say that probably have to do anything that has questions from me first because I have to go to work in just under 40 minutes. Sadly.
All right. Then Floppy, go ahead and touch on what you need to first.
I don't have too much. There's been a hell of a lot of development going on. I know I haven't put patch notes in a while. Very brief history as to why last month I had to go on a TDY for my job, the military in Florida. Then the rest of the month I was dealing with family medical issues that were pretty severe. And so it put me behind on a lot of things, unfortunately. That being said, however, I still did get a lot of stuff done. We have a whole new inventory system that's pretty much done at this point. There's only one feature to add, finish adding in, and it won't take but less than a day to do. And this doesn't sound exciting on the surface, because on the surface, y'all aren't going to notice a single difference if everything works properly. But it will allow us to do very cool things, like every phone being a unique phone, and having their own phone number, so you could technically take someone's cell phone, send and receive their messages and phone calls. And if they have like location sharing turned on, which is a feature we might have, I haven't decided if we're going to do that or not, then you would be able to see where all their friends are if you have their phone on your person, for example. Some other features that will allow is like you could take certain foods and poison them and give them to other people, and they would poison their person whenever they use it. So it doesn't sound cool on the surface, but once you start getting into the little details, it's actually pretty neat what we're going to be able to do with this, because it's going to allow a whole new array of possibilities, including, you know, not really gangs so much, but more of the rebel kind of people being able to craft things like a vehicle tracker and sticking it on a vehicle if they want to find out where it's going or where their house is or anything like that. Something else I've been working on is creating instances. If you've played GTA Online, then you know what this is, where you can all have the same house but you don't see each other. Same concept here. I've got it working so far with the pedestrians. It's only going to apply for housing, really. You're not going to use it in the real world, like outside of a house. But it's working to where you can't see each other, you can't hear each other. There's no VoIP with it. You can't interact with each other. You don't collide with each other. The only things left to do now are get it applied to the storage system and the housing system, and then we will be changing the way the housing system works in its entirety, because it will allow everyone to own every single house that they want, and hopefully then some. So there's some other ideas we have for far more housing than other servers have, but we're gonna explore that before we really get into the nitty-gritty of it. We do have a wipe coming up this week. I was going to do it with 2 weeks notice, but I went ahead and did it with just one. The reason being is that I think people are really tired of being unsure of when it's going to be, and that is partially my fault, so I do apologize for that. So it's going to be this Thursday, I believe, is when we said it was going to be.
That's correct. You said Thursday.
So next Thursday then. I've also fixed numerous bugs in this patch that will be coming up. We have the patch completely done at this point. I don't think there's much left for us to add. If there is, and we'll just add it in and test it as well. Almost all the over 100 items that we have in the game have been fully tested. Just have to go through another final round of testing with staff and testers before it'll be ready to release. Let's see, like I've fixed numerous issues with, let's see, tacos, making those and exploits that were possible with them. I fixed 3 of them that I didn't even know about because I didn't see a report on it, sadly. I made lockpicking work a little bit differently. I've changed up, I'm working on zip ties, on fixing that code so that y'all can actually zip tie people now after you make them manually. I've changed how drugs are going to work. I'm really hoping that people are going to like this change, both cops and civilians. So someone pointed this out, and it's a really good point, that a lot of the reason that people think people aren't signing on nowadays is because you can't, a lot of people that want to run drugs, like people that do illegal jobs, they mostly just run drugs. And they can't do that if there's not enough cops on, so they don't sign on. Well, the cops don't sign on because there's not very many civs on, and they don't really want to be in a town with hardly any players. So it's like one hand negatively feeding the other, so to speak. So to remedy that, what I've done is I've kind of rewrote that. I've removed the restriction that there has to be a certain number of cops and a certain number of civilians on together, period. I'm hoping this will work out how I desire it to. What will happen instead is every drug that you can sell needs to have a certain amount of cops on before it will be the normal price that you sell it at. So right now, if you sell, for an example, weed, normally sells for $50. You need, these aren't the exact numbers, I'm not going to give you all the exact numbers, but we'll say you need at least 2 cops on for it to sell for $50. If there's not 2 cops on, then it'll go from that number down, and there's a certain percentage that will take, I think it's like 5%, and it'll take off, no, it's 15%, I think, 15%, something like that. It's a percentage of the total price, and we'll take that much off the sale price per cop that isn't online. If there's only 1 cop online, let's say it would sell for $45 or $30. If there's no cops online, then it would sell for $35 or $30. So it's a lot less worth it. However, that being said, it also evens out in that, yes, you can still pick up drugs. You can still do drugs all the way through with no cops on now. However, there's a benefit too. The more cops that are on, the higher the sell price now. So going to slightly increase the risk of getting caught to kind of simulate a stronger police force and a stronger police presence in the city. But regard, that's about it. Like, it will increase the price and slightly increase the chances of getting caught. So it's going to be even more crucial that you'll want to have a dealer that you're working with, because they're gonna as affected by that issue, so to speak. So yeah, exactly, Dan. It's a lot more risk versus reward. Additionally, probably going to be changing the professions to where you can only change every 3 days. That being said, however, we're probably going to add the ability to have a second profession, but you'll only get one skill from the second profession. So you'll have like one of the main, benefits to being that profession instead. So you won't be able to try to exploit it and get a self bonus by like being both a gang member and a dealer or anything like that. But it will be something that people will enjoy. There's already a bonus sell quantity based on the areas that you sell on the map that's been in since I added selling drugs to pedestrians. I'm not going to tell y'all where. If you know where they are, then sell it in game. Sell it through RP. Like, that's what I would say. But they definitely exist in game. The other things that we're adding in, lockpicks just work a little bit more effectively now. I've changed up some of the numbers and everything. I'm not going to get too much into the nitty gritty of it. It's not really that exciting to hear about, I assure you. Let me see what else we've done. I'm just clicking through all the commits. Something about the inventory system. Work very differently in regards to how many items you can hold. Used to, you could like fill up your inventory with apples, right? If you wanted to. Now you might be able to hold 2 if you have no backpack. If you have a backpack, then you'll be able to hold like 30 or 40. So the way it's going to work is that I can turn it on and off both these features. But right now, the amount of items that you can carry is based both on the weight of each item and the volume of each item. So inches squared basically is what measurement we're going by. So you might be able to hold 2 apples in real life, by yourself. If you can't, well, then that's really, really, unfortunate for you. I can't do anything to help your life. But the way it's going to happen is that the higher backpack container you hold, the more you can contain. So if you have a backpack, then you'll be able to hold a lot more weight and a lot more volume, so to speak. So all 100 or so value I had to create over 200 values manually to simulate this. So it might need some tweaking over time, but I will definitely try to definitely working on it. I've been working on it every day at work, trying to get a little bit done. So but that's going to be an important thing to do. But if people don't like it and they would rather only have one of those, like volume or weight, then I can turn either one of them on and off instantly. So it won't be too difficult. Let's see. I've also upped how long it takes to sell drugs by about 3 times, just because it's a little bit quick. Working on a busing job now that y'all can do, a legal job. I fixed some issues with robbing places that didn't have a bug report, but someone told me about them, so I got those fixed. And y'all are obviously already aware of the bio requirement. There's also a new area in Legion Square that you've probably noticed. In the very center of it, where you can reselect your character. If you go there and you stay within that marker for 5 minutes, it will allow you to reselect your character immediately. There's going to be oh, Rob, is that done and ready to go?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I was going to go to you and Emma and let y'all talk about y'all's individual stuff as well. Anyway, you can reselect your character after 5 minutes if you're in that area. Now, I am going to be adding restrictions that if a cop is nearby, if you're handcuffed or unconscious, obviously it's not going to work either. But still, it is something that we do have available in game right now. That's one of the features we went ahead and did.
God damn it! I don't want to talk. but I guess I'm gonna have to.
I'm not really too sure what else I can say right at the moment, because I could just keep on going down this list, but I'm only on March 25th of all the updates I've been doing. Have almost something every day, so I'd rather take questions at this point.
Okay. Did you get the feedback form? And you get the link to that? If not, I'll read off the questions.
Yeah, go ahead and read them
that
real
are
quick.
being asked to you. All right. First one is still not understanding, even though majority votes said not to do the server wipe before 2 weeks, why you're still pushing it. They're still not quite understanding why you're making that push.
So the vote was very split. It was 40-50 in favor of not wiping. That's not a very big, difference. Staff was pretty split on it as well. It has been something that I've been saying we're going to do for a very long time, and I do feel like people are kind of just waiting for it to happen and therefore not playing here as much, and that might be something that is contributing to the much lower population lately. Additionally, a lot of what is in the economy right now, some of it was made, by breaking rules and exploiting and things like that before I had the mechanics in to protect against that. So it's something that needs to be done. I think it will help the economy overall, and I think that it'll help solidify a lot of things, especially the fact that it's going to be much less of a ongoing development. It's going to be considered release, because I did say it's going to take about a year's time for it to get done. It's been a little bit more than that, about 2 more months after I said about a year's time. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot more solid now, because you're not going to have these random times where I'm going to announce in 30 minutes we're going to do a restart for a patch and everything. Additionally, because of that, the only time we're going to be doing wipes is when there's a major exploit that needs to be fixed immediately or something like that. And we'll have regular patch days, probably every Tuesday or something like that, or some day of the week where we will be doing that. Yeah, there's going to be more individual jobs. That's something I'm working on right now, to have ready for the wipe as well this week rather. Next question.
Next question is about the trees again. Can we stop acting like trees are perfect and actually hold a poll if we want them or not? You claim they don't cause any trouble, FPS problems, but I have spoken to at least 10 people that have problems.
I don't claim they don't have issues. Some people don't think there's issues with it, and I know some people don't believe there are at all. However, I do know this is a very split thing, because some people do have issues, some don't. I know some people that would have really good rigs and they still have issues. It's just odd. So we are probably going to be disabling them until I can go through and delete half of those or so. I'm going to find out if there's going to be an easy way I can delete about half of those. I'm pretty sure I can. But I'm going to go through there and probably just delete at least half of them, maybe 2/3 of them, before we would re-enable it. It looks good. I think it looks good for the most part, but I know it does cause some issues for some people, and I'd rather get that resolved than just leave it in and make those people suffer. Because I think they're definitely too, they're definitely too clumped up.
All right. Will the clothing store's character creation options be changed at this wipe, or is this something we'll have to wait even longer for? And will the more close down and clothes move to the stores soon?
You can go ahead and link me the document task, so I'll just nail them off as fast as I can. To answer that one, the Toko is working on something right now, and I'll go ahead and let y'all know this before, it gets out and people start spreading rumors that are simply not true. We've traded a few resources with Family RP, and one of them being is that they get to use an older version of Toko VoIP to have a little bit of the functionality that we have, but they don't have like all the features that we will have, and they understand that if they do violate the agreement we've come through, then we can cancel it at any time, and we literally have the power to turn it off at a moment's notice. In exchange, they've given us two resources, one of them being their character customization, which is a lot more in-depth customizable than anything else that's currently available. The problem with that is that it's all written in C#, and Toko is currently, and we mainly run Lua here. Toko is currently going through it as fast as he can, but he does have a lot on his plate, and he is trying to get it adapted for our server as fast as we can. We're going to try to have it ready for the wipe. It is one of the things that we want mandatory for the wipe, but we don't think it's going to be ready in time. It will be available shortly after when he does have it done, though. He knows how much people love it and want to do it, so. As soon as that happens, the morgue and the other stuff will be removed as well in the clothing stores, and we'll just be using those. Additionally, these will allow for options such as adding in like outfits to your home that you can store there and just quickly change in and out of. But I'm probably going to make it to the point where you can't simply change your appearance at any time, your physical appearance. You can change your clothes, but once you have set your character's appearance, that's it. All you can do is add tattoos and change clothes and your hair, and you know what I mean. The character selector, let's see here.
Just a quick question on that, Floppy. The tattoos, is that included in that TFRP pack? Hello?
I'm not sure what you mean by the community meeting is happening. It's way too big. Maybe another area.
Character selector is way too big.
Well, damn it.
Is what they meant.
Oh, the
I think it's about the
square.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll be bringing it back down a little bit. But I do want it to be somewhere that's very publicly visible, because I don't want someone just being able to do it anywhere, hide-offs where they just ran over 10 people and now they're hiding from cops to try to change characters before they're caught or something like that. That's why it's there, but I will bring down the radius.
They did also say when you try to do an emote, you start changing your character, so maybe change it off of enter.
Okay.
Well, the other thing, if it's small, wow. If it's made smaller, then you won't have to worry about doing an emote at Legion Square when you're not in the circle.
Some other legal jobs, like I said, I'm going to be adding busing in, and I'm going to redo taxiing. I'm also, with this wife, we're going to be retouching up on every single job, and this is my week off. I only work 2 days this week, so I work less this coming week after tonight. I'm going to be spending all of my time coding and on a brand new character on what the server is going to be after it wipes, so that I can see just how hard it is to get things going by myself with no help at all. So it is going to be a thing. But I do have plans for at least 5 or 6 more legal jobs right now. So it is something that I'm working on. I'm working on an entire new jobs framework, which will allow us to rapidly develop new jobs a hell of a lot faster, but it is not done yet. I will be getting it done though. I haven't added the drift tamper to the dealership because I've had issues with it in testing so far. That's why I haven't added it yet. When I can get those issues resolved, then I will go ahead and do it.
A reminder, guys, with all your questions that you are putting through, we still have the development team to hear from in other areas. So if you want to, your questions are fine to post, just reminder that we still have a lot of people to hear. Do you have any other questions directly for Floppy? Because he does have to get to work. Go ahead and post them.
Yeah. The ragdolling when getting shot, I'll revisit the script. I know sometimes it is finicky, but I will try to get it working properly. So, ETA on tattoos, and we can say beards and makeup. Rob, I'll let you answer that one whenever I'm done here. All right. I know you're fiddling with that.
Okay. Do you want me to answer it now or after you're done?
No, because I got like 15 minutes and I got to head to work. So it's going to be all you guys.
I'll answer it later.
The only way I'm going to be able to listen in on this is if someone live streams it to YouTube. That's the only way I can be here.
Oh, you can't even watch it on Twitch?
No, that's
Rip.
why. Yeah, I know. Sucks. Let's see. Our legal helicopter rental or store going to be purchased for RP jobs for touring. We're not going to be doing any kind of aviation until there is at least 64 players on the server. But I assure you, I promise you, I can take it to the bank that whenever we reach 64 players or more, I will enable aviation and we will have all of that enabled to do as you so please. The sniper will probably not ever be added. It might be added with very, 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 very difficult restrictions to get or use. Like it might be usable by cops, but I mean they're gonna have to be like so many certifications, so much training, so much time in the force. Like it's gonna be an incredibly difficult time for them to get the sniper, and it's only gonna be in a very, intense situation like a hostage taking, or an officer's life is in danger or something like that, like, or they're threatening to kill a whole bunch of people. Something where it's a very high risk, and this person has been trained by all sorts of things. Like it's going to be a very rare occasion that you would see released, because I want RP to happen, and I love the sniper rifles in any game except for Battlefield and Call of Duty, because that's bullshit. It's not a sniper rifle at all. That's not even short range. Anyway, but I do feel like the sniper rifles will very much reduce the likelihood of roleplay, because then you can shoot someone, kill them, and you never know who killed you. So it's going to be incredibly difficult to even obtain one as a civilian, other than stealing one, which good luck with that. Because every time that it comes out by someone qualified to use it, if I ever add it in, it's going to be protected extremely well. On top of that, crafting one by hand is going to be damn near impossible. Like it's going to be like 0.1% chance or less. But that's if they come in. So, moving on. Talked about jobs within prison to maybe reduce time as well. Yes, that is something I plan on doing. I am definitely going to add in the ability for criminals to fix broken cop cars inside the prison to reduce their sentence. As basically one last fuck you for being a criminal. Yeah, a lot of people would rather do time than touch the car. That's why I think it'd be funny. But yeah, I do have ideas for that. Also, just to let y'all know, with 64 players plus, we are going to be bringing jailbreaks in, but you won't be able to do a jailbreak with a helicopter just land and pull them out. That's not going to work like that. Licenses last longer than a month. I have thought about making them last 3 months. It is something I want to talk to my devs about, getting some time and date functions built better for us to allow us to easily do things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to having licenses last for 3 months. It is something we could definitely do. Any other questions?
I believe you missed the one about the already existing buildings. They asked, maybe please get teleport rings for the FIB buildings and such. It's going to be added last month or two ago, but nothing moved forward. There are things already out there that has all the buildings and teleport rings.
I'll touch on this as well. Drug running is pretty vague. A lot of stuff in the server is going to have video tutorial added to it. A lot of them, but not all of them. I do want some things for people to fill out. I don't like. This is how I'm going to say it because I don't know how else to say it, and people aren't going to like it. But I don't like hand feeding all the information. I find the games far more enjoyable when I have to figure things out on my own or talk to other people and figure it out. I don't like just handing it all to people on a silver platter, and I think people usually enjoy games more when they figure things out. Otherwise, it's basically like having a cheat engine on or a trainer on rather, and just doing whatever the hell you want. So I will add some stuff, but not everything. Also, with the new inventory, you are going to have the ability to work out and be able to carry more stuff as well. That is going to be a buff that you will be able to have. In regards to buildings having teleports and everything like that, if there is a public resource that has them available, then sure, I am absolutely fine with adding that in if it's something that we can use. Jeff, not so much. I would rather players figure it out and document on their own how to do it so that you can figure it out on your own, because I do want to eventually introduce the mechanic that you can make the drugs improperly and injure yourself. So thus information is power. Zach, I'm not really sure about your terrorism rule. You'll have to get with staff about that to clarify what you mean by that. Sorry, man. Okay, Daniel Imprix asked about, is there any way you can move storage containers to where they can't be dropped everywhere? Yes, but I'm not going to. This is something that I've been wanting to get with Ezekiel for a long time about making it a law that if we find a container on public or private property and that person does not own that private property, they're subject to immediate search and or seizure. Because I hate seeing those containers everywhere as well. The only time that it wouldn't be the case is if they're selling items. So. Would you ever add an app on the phone to let you see the progress in, say, working out or manufacturing? I am going to be adding a lot of functions to the phone over time. I just don't know HTML or JavaScript very well, so it takes me a while to add stuff to that. But it is something I definitely have intentions on doing. I would like the ability to even create contracts to where you can put open contracts that you need this much stuff processed, and if anyone takes a contract, they just go to the location, pick it up, and then process it for you. You can check up on the contract as time goes on. Bidwell, that is going to be something that we're going to be doing. It's already on my to-do list. Anything else?
All right, well, no other questions are coming in, so we'll move on to Rob.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so the answer or the question about tattoos and beards and makeup. I'm going to preface this by saying I haven't been coding that long, like maybe 6 or 7 months with a little bit before that. Everything I'm doing, I'm learning as I go. So when I make features like this, when it gets into the actual saving it to database so that when you pop up back in the server, it's still there, I'm still learning that aspect of it. I'm doing what I can to learn how it's saving clothing and stuff to be able to save it. But something I thought of last night when I was messing around with, and by the way, I figured out how to get tattoos working. If that isn't part of the resource we got from Family RP for the character customization, then I will be putting in more. I forgot what floppy distracted me. Anyway, if that's not part of the Family RP resource we got, then I'll be putting more time into getting it working properly and getting it looking decent.
It's not.
Damn it. Okay. So then I'll be doing that. But before I get it so that it saves, I have to make it so that you can clear like the makeup and stuff on. So if you go in as a male character, you're not going to put on makeup and you can't clear it. So that's one of the main reasons why it's not savable currently. I haven't figured that out. I've looked into a lot of resources. There's very few resources out there that actually have these features. So I will, as soon as I have been working on, like I said, the tattoos and stuff. I actually just figured it out last night, to be honest with you. But I will get it in as soon as I can for the tattoos. It's not going to be, I'm not going to give a timeline on when it's released because I want to make sure it looks decent before, so I can guarantee it'll be after the wipe. But I want to get it looking, categorized and proper before I do that. I do have 2 new features that have been sent to the cloud to get put onto the live servers. One of which is
Real quick.
Yeah.
Let me interject real quick because I forgot to say this. I just want to remind everyone, and I know staff is going to hate me for this, and some players are going to hate me for this, but this is a complete wipe. Everything but the forms is getting wiped, and your rank says PD or EMS. So all your characters, all your assets, all your storage, all your vehicles getting wiped. Also, every BAM is getting wiped. I've said this over and over again that they had the time during the dev and they screwed up. If they want to come back, they can try again during the wipe, after the wipe. So every ban is getting wiped. If you know someone who wants to be back, you need to lecture them that there is no chance again after this. If they get banned again, that's it. They're not coming back ever. Period. Done.
I have a question on that actually. Is this considered like everything except like, so say I know you, does that mean I no longer know you, or?
I haven't decided that, but I think people would probably appreciate it if they can continue to know their character knowledge.
Okay.
So we'll take Harley, can we take a community poll on that?
Okay, so while that's being said, I'm going to continue. The next thing, which I messaged Floppy about, and before I forget about it again, persistent garage saves. So basically, when you store your car, you take your car out. If it doesn't have a garage that it's already been stored at, it'll be there. Although it'll probably come in after wipe, so that won't matter. So basically, if you store it at the garage on Vespucci, and you go up to Polito, it's not going to be there. You have to go to the garage on Vespucci. Same with Sandy Shores, the docks, the pier. Wherever you stored it last is where it will be. That being said, that does bring in the possibility of persistent vehicle storages to be re-enabled. 2 new emote kind of features I have, one of which is going to be like, these are just small RP kind of emotes, and I'm going to be working on a few more as well. These 2 for sure are going to come out at the time of the wipe, I believe, maybe sooner. is hitting F2 will allow you to stop, put your hands up, and then it'll, interlace your fingers behind your head, and then you'll drop to your knees, allowing police to do stuff or be executed, whatever. And then you hit it again, you'll stand up slowly. It's not going to be an instant up and down thing. The other thing I have is going prone. You'll be able to crawl on your stomach, crawl on your back. If you're running and you hit the prone button, which is F1, you'll basically dive into prone, like I'm sure we've all seen on the pickles. The only thing is you got to make sure you don't, fail RP it by crawling around like a snake with your hands up and stuff like that. I did try to put in some mechanics to prevent that. However, they've proved inefficient no matter where I put the code, so just keep that in mind. Oh God, Tom. Yeah, you can, to do that, you hit F1, you'll go prone, hit F1 again, you'll stand back up. When you're prone, if you hit shift, you'll switch from back to front. And I think that's all I have right now.
Okay, then we'll go to Amelia if someone could give her talk power.
Oh,
So did
that's a thing. Okay.
it is.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so I'm a new dev, of course, if you don't know that. And I just wanted to say that I do read bug fixes and suggestion reports every day. I've actually been working on fixing a lot of the issues that people do have. Also making sure that everything's a little bit more polished than what they are right now. So for example, now if you're in a vehicle and you see desync and you see that the driver has crashed all willy-nilly, you will not take damage unless the driver actually sees himself crashing. So you'll have less reason to go to a hospital or less reason to call EMS in that regard. I've also made a lot of changes to the medical system. It's been completely rewritten. And there's a lot of bug fixes that I've put into it. So now Rocket Man isn't a thing, which I know a lot of EMS do like. But at the end of the day, when someone gets, placed at the hospital and there's no EMS or PD on, they're not able to get Rocket, right? So we want to be able to help people go to the hospital when there's no one else to help them. And let's see, what else? EMS now has saline packets that they're able to give anyone who's actually dehydrated. There's a few more things as well. When you get punched out, you won't be classified as dead. You'll be classified as unconscious. Just for RP reasons. Also, you're not going to get instantly punched out by anyone. More than likely not anyways. I brought it down to 20%. So when you fight someone, there's a 20% chance that if you hit them in the head, there's a 20% chance that they will go unconscious. And we've done some testing with EMS. They found that it seems reasonable. You can have so-called fights between people, and it's exciting because you never know if that one punch is going to knock you out. It's not instantaneous anymore. I also made it to where weapons give a higher possibility of knocking someone out. So any blunt weapons like a bat or even a flashlight, if you hit someone in the head, it is a 45% chance that they get knocked out. Again, it's not a necessarily 1 out of 2 chance that they will get knocked out, because at the end of the day, it is probability. It could just so happen that you hit them 10 times and they never get knocked out, or you hit them once and they instantly get knocked out. But it should be a little bit more nice to use, I guess. Let's see. And yeah, I've been fixing a lot of bugs. I do read through all your bug reports every day when I wake up. And Dan has actually been a very nice person in that because he does post a lot of bug reports, and I've been fixing them as they come, essentially. And you'll be seeing a lot of fixes during the wipe. Yeah, that's about all I have to say for now.
All right, then we will go to Flora and support.
Oh, I don't have much to say other than support applications are opening and we are in need of people. So if you feel like helping out the community, please do apply.
All right, Creighton, are you ready to go, or do you need more time?
I think so. I'm good.
Go ahead.
Admin side of things. We've noticed I don't want to say like a lack of role play, but places where role play could be better. So I've been having our admin team really kind of buckle down on role play, making sure that we are actually doing it instead of shooting people that could have ended somewhat differently. On top of that, I have what have we done? We've been catching a lot more people who are exploiting and are doing bad things. Please don't do that. We can see that. So we're not here, and I've told the admin team many of times of this. We're not here to role play. We're here to role play, and I've had our admin team trying to facilitate a better role play experience rather than just trying to ding somebody because they might have broken the rules. Because there could probably be a chance that, sure, you bend the rules a little bit, but it's resulted in good RP. So that's not how we're operating. I am looking to bring on more people. So if you're interested in being a part of our admin team,
user was moved out of your channel.
Your avenue to that is to join support. We don't just pick up people off the street to be admins. We do like to see them perform. So going back to what Flora said with support applications opening, if you're interested in admin team support, do an amazing job at support, and you'll more than likely be invited to our admin team. I've been trying to round out our time zones. Been getting a lot more, or I've been looking at getting in some EU people. I don't know. Besides that, if there was any specific questions, there's nothing too other interesting or
User in
different
your channel is
from
reporting.
the admin team.
There was a question put into the form. Can you rewrite the terrorism rule, because in-game laws of terrorism justify some aspects of roleplay that already happens, but you can't do terrorism due to server rules?
That is something that I'm gonna have to discuss with Floppy. 9 times out of 10, somebody who wants to commit some terroristic acts are not doing it in a very good roleplay sense. But I will bring that up with Floppy and see if we can't rewrite that. Do you know what they were like, a situation they were talking about?
I think basically just because it is a law, it is something that you can charge. That there's a perceived disconnect between the laws and the server rules.
Well, I mean, just because it's in the laws, it doesn't mean you have to do it or get charged with it. I think that was put in there for PD to charge somebody with it in preparation for a ban, because I think it comes with a very high jail sentence. So that is something that I'm going to discuss with Floppy, and we'll have to see. As for what's terroristic, that is very open-ended. Basically anything that's poor RP. A lot of these terrorist events are like, kamikazing into a group of people. Where's the RP there? That's a terroristic event. There's absolutely no reason why you should be doing it. There is not a situation where I could foresee a terroristic event being good RP. But we're not Takistan. We're Los Santos. I mean, even in today's life, terrorism is a very loose subject, and it's very hard to be labeled as a terrorist unless you're
User disconnected from
a
your channel.
foreign enemy of the land. So it's very open-ended and very much up to interpretation. So I will get with Floppy, and we'll see what we can do with that, if anything. And I guess I will add this in before we move on. Actually, I got two things. Oh, never mind. Okay. If you are unsure about an RP scenario, run it by an admin, run it by a moderator, get their feedback on it. Because while it might bend the rules the way you want to implement it, might be something that is allowable. We're not, like I said, we're not strictly on the rule play. Anything that fosters good RP, we will allow certain, and I say certain with an asterisk on it, situations that bend the rules. But you need to run those by at least a moderator and admin before that actually happens. So we're here to help you. We're not here to ban you. And in closing, because it looks like it was already done, I'd like to congratulate Maddie for being promoted to moderator. She's been doing a good job around here. So give her congrats.
All right, so we'll move on to PD next. So someone could give Justin Creed talk power.
Already got it.
Yay. So technically about PD, there's not a lot of stuff that I can talk about because it's kind of hard to give a standpoint on everything in general. But in general, as it goes right now, I don't know how many people have been playing lately and how much you guys have noticed, but we've redone all our trainings. And mostly all our trainings now are shorter, but they also go more towards the roleplay standpoint of the server instead of just being cops and being, robocopy, as you guys would like to call it. So most of it is more RP oriented now. So we're trying to work on that. It's something that's in progress, and it's something that we're going to be working on mainly. We're basically getting rid of the stuff that we think we did wrong in the past, and we're mostly taking a look on the bright side of things and look at the things that we did right and actually improve on those. And aside from that, after Floppy talked about the entire unbanning process where people are going to be unbanned, me and Biddle talked about something that Biddle's actually going to be talking about in a minute when he gets the time to talk about it. But it's pretty exciting, and it involves quite a bit of people in here, and also quite a bit of people that have left in the past and want to come back, so. But that's for Bid what to say, but that's all I got.
Okay, then we'll move on to Sheriff and Bidwell.
All right, cool. So as far as the SO goes, I'll say there's nothing really huge changing. It's more going to be discussing, privately with the guys that are in my department. So, boss or captain, you're funny. So the thing I wanted to actually say to everybody that I think a lot of people are going to like, and like I said, like Creed said, we agreed on it, is that with the wipe, we're gonna go ahead and wipe all the all the records, so your criminal history. So if you have felonies on that character or anything like that, it's gone. So you can, it's basically a fresh start. Even if you're Paul Owen, and he's done some crazy stuff, you can apply as Paul Owen. Also, anybody that has bad history with the PD, that has been terminated for corruption or anything like that, will have a just basically consider it gone. We will get rid of it. So if you messed up in the past and you did something stupid, here's your second chance. Just like everybody getting unbanned, it's your second chance. Just don't mess it up. That's all I have to say.
All right, so we'll move to Yuri and the fire department.
I'm gonna disable the bot real quick so it stops moving you guys. Sorry.
Hi everyone. If you don't know me already, I'm the SFE chief.
Oh my God! Stop! Please stop.
Fix your microphone, Yuri.
It's so.
Is it better now? Is it better?
Yes.
Is it crackling? Stop pooping, farting, anything? Okay, great. Anyways, so I just kind of wanted to hit on a few RP things between medics and everyone else. And yes, the accent is fake; it's not real. So for the sake of RP, I've kind of discussed this with a few admins and mods and stuff like that. You can slash me in any state, like downstate, so that whether it be unconscious, dead, or incapacitated. For example, like if I check your pulse, you could say weak pulse. But we don't want to see something like has 7 gunshots, 1 to the left arm, 3 to the chest, etc., etc. But something like a bit more vague, like has several gunshots. That way, it kind of leaves the window for the imagination of the medic and yourself. That was kind of one of the things. Another thing was, I know at times you guys have to wait a super, super duper long time for us, and I do apologize for that. We try our best. At times there's one of us and 31 of you, and we tried our best to, kind of get to you guys and do what we can with that. I promise we're not ignoring you. We're trying our best to get there as fast as possible. Kind of along with that, if you guys send out an EMS request, just let us know if you leave. That way, we're not going to phantom calls and then kind of hold someone back and they have to wait another 10 minutes or so, or whatever it may be. And kind of the last 2 things, when reset comes, I know you guys want to get back to, your house, the garage, etc., etc. Or just because the reset's coming, you might get a bit more silly. But as soon as that 15 minutes hits, EMS can go clock out, so don't expect them to come. So calm down. Reset's coming. Don't do anything crazy. And the last thing in terms of RP, I know at times EMS is needed. And I've had a few I've heard it from the PD side and the medic side where people will message medics out of game constantly to come in game and clock in, or even in OOC they'll message, hey, clock in, or this, that, whatever. You need to understand we are human too. We need a break sometimes. We're not clocking in just to be dicks. We just actually need a break. And even just asking them to come clock in or, anything like that, you're essentially, asking the medic to meta along with yourself because you personally need help. So you're telling them to clock in. And along with OOC, anything you guys say in OOC, our characters don't know. So if you're like saying, hey, I need help here, you know, we're going to ignore that. Our characters are still going to go there. Stuff like that has to be in character. Outside of that, on a very positive note, there are more EMRs now, so sure, there should be more coverage. You can see all the green badges here in TeamSpeak. Like Jeff said, yes, we are busy. With that, we are still hiring, so you can go ahead and apply there. And on the last forever note, if you guys have any complaints or anything, whatever it may be, feel free to put complaints, concerns, praises, suggestions, anything. You can go ahead and put those there, or you can just go ahead and message me directly on the forums. Other than that, that's all I have to say. And no, you cannot cut off my ponytail. Yep, that's pretty much all for me. Love you all. See you out on the road.
All right. Then we'll go to Zeke for DOJ if he got his mic working. Yes, my accent is also fake.
Oh, Zeke.
He's having mic issues.
Good, one job, Zeke. One job.
Okay, so while we wait for him to try to come back, get that working, we'll go through the questions that came in while everyone else was talking. And try to answer those. Might have an issue because Floppy's not here, and I know he's the one that could answer some of these, but we'll do our best. Someone asked, will we be able to buy taxi cars like truckers can buy trucks? I don't know if that's something Rob can answer or not.
That is something I can answer, but I'm not going to. Oh. That is something I can answer, but I'm not going to. No, I'm just kidding. I do want to have it so that you can buy not only taxis, but what the hell are they called? Tow trucks as well. And that being said, I want to make it so that if you own said taxi or tow truck, that you make a certain percentage higher than someone that's just renting it. Sort of like owner ops do.
Someone asked, will lottery ever be added? And I'm just gonna say, if you want the lottery, do it yourself.
Yeah, you don't need a game mechanic to do that.
Would there be a way to deposit items into a locked storage box that is not owned by you? That way you can leave it there for someone to process and it is safe from people just going into it. You can already do that. Someone can put down a unit, put a lock on it, and then share that code with you and you can open it. And I know that because both EMS and PD use that to trade items with each other. Zeke said
There we
he's
go.
ready though, so we'll go back to DOJ.
Oh, I'm probably gonna have to restart it though.
Someone give him talk power.
He's got it unless he did he rejoin? Where is he?
Yeah, he rejoined.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I was having some problem with my headset. Set it. Thank you for the patience. So, for those that most of you know me as Zeke, but otherwise, if you don't know me, I'm also Richard Devine, the Chief Justice of the head of the DOJ. We're the new kids on the block, and I'm happy with where everything's going.
I'm not restarting right now.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the staff meeting after the focused relation meetings, similar to the other departments, to address anyone's concern of the DOJ. However, during my time here, I always ask for feedback, and anytime anyone has any suggestions, come to myself. My door is always open. We do appreciate that. With that said, I still need to talk to staff about some of these things I'm going to bring up because,
maybe some
as I said, I was out of town last week. I've been playing catch up all week.
Hang on, I'm going to do this.
Which will be probably addressed at the next staff meeting. First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank the people that are part of the DOJ. And those guys put a lot of time and effort and sacrifice and sweat behind the scenes just to give you guys the court cases that you see. You see about the hour or two worth of work, but that's only probably about 5% of the work that goes into a court case. So I just always want to say, be respectful to the DOJ members, and when they say they're working hard for you, they really are. I also want to thank the community for being patient during any cases. I know it takes a long time to schedule these things, get them underway, but we are working on going towards a more full-time court system. So if a judge is on duty, and that's why you've seen Richard Devine in the city more often nowadays, is we're trying to get that in the city presence and that process going where we can have a full-time court if someone wishes to take a matter to court. I will say, in the last 4 months since I've taken over the department, it has grown quite exponentially. And I'm very happy with the growth. Everybody that's part of the bar team, the DOJ in general, has been great. We've taken on a new a new justice, and her name, it's Ruby Blaze's, basically Ruby Blaze, but it's Justice Rose, Barbara Rose. So we're expanding in that field. We also have, the district attorney's office running. We have the our county defender's office running. We have private lawyers that are practicing law. So everything's been going great on that end. Many paralegals too. So I'm glad the paralegal system is working. I just want to remind everybody that I did make a schedule update or a scheduling update. It was a while ago, but it's going to remind everyone now that you are pinged in a court case by a justice or a judge, considered a summons. And if you can't make the court case for any kind of real life reason, real life comes first, no problem. I understand. It's just really the hardest part is getting everyone together at the same time. So it really comes out to you guys to be vigilant on that schedule. That way we can execute these court cases. And if you can't make it, talk to if you're on the district attorney side, talk to the district attorney or talk to your lawyer about the situation. They can talk to me. Find your way to me. We recently introduced a strike system with the DOJ, so our lawyers are kept accountable for their actions. Misdemeanors equal 1 week of suspension from the bar, and that's 1 for 1 for every misdemeanor up to a count of 6, where you become permanently disbarred. Also, 3 strikes with felony. And at any time, the Chief Justice can disbar a member for attorney conduct, or say that 1 felony was a very heinous crime. That's what we're kind of going for at that end. The roles of judges in the near future, I'm hoping that if a judge is inside the city and clocked in and on duty, instead of the officers doing the arraigning and sentencing, it would be delegated to the judge. And then the judge will do the paperwork for the officer after the fact, so the officer can go back on duty. And we're trying to make the paperwork as less burdensome on the officers and more burdensome on the DOJ members. That's why we're working on getting prosecutors up and running to be able to charge possibly at the PD. That way they could take over a case once they have enough information, and our officers can go back patrolling the streets. Some things with San Andreas Code of Law, we do it in sweeps. We usually have focused meetings, and I take suggestions all the time from both sides, PD and LE, or both PD and civilians. These amendments, they're typically done, like I said, sweeps, but a lot of them are just clarification or any kind of loopholes that might be there. But when it comes to new charges, there'll be 5 at a time. That way we can just hand them off to the developers and add them in. With that said, we're going to be transitioning. I'm going to be hopefully introducing a system which is player driven here shortly, where if you want a law change, you go through a lawyer. They put an amendment proposal. The justices decide whether the proposal is warranted or not, and then we can make amendments that way. And there's going to be a lengthy discussion, and it's going to be an argument because just like the Constitution of the United States, we want it to be somewhat hard. We want it to be hard to amend when it comes to big things, but when it comes to little clarifications, that's when we still hold the respective authority. Something that's also coming up with the DOJ, and some people might like it, some people might not like it. And as I said, I still need to get the full staff consensus on it. But I want to change when it comes to the sentencing for heinous crimes that involve either the death of another character, like perma status. First degree murders where another character was permadeath, to have a different sentence than the baseline of 40 months. Say something more in line of 75 years to life, which the life part would have to be figured out, as I said, in the next meeting. But 75 years is a baseline. That way, when making any kind of plea agreements with the said individual that's being charged with these perma status, the prosecuting officer or the prosecuting attorneys and the defense attorneys can have a baseline that they know will be the punishment. So 75 years times 12 months. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing. That's just something to be aware of in the future when it does happen. I feel like those we want to allow the system to have fun the day by day, but those big, really impactful stories to have consequence. And I feel like that's a good move. Other than that, I wanted to mention when it comes to court cases, in character and out of character, it's one of those things that everything being presented and all that stuff, it should be staying in character. Anything out of character, we're all a community at the end of the day. We're all here to role play. Any kind of out of character pressures on any kind of witnesses or defendants, or if someone's suing another party, that leads to someone making a decision that wouldn't have been made in characterly, that's something we needed to frown upon and shy away from. Like I said, I do know that court cases has high emotions and drama, but I want to make sure that everyone knows that it's all in character, and anything that's being pressured out of character is definitely frowned upon. We're better than that. That's pretty much my address. I don't know if community relations have anything question-wise.
No, I don't see any questions for DOJ.
Well, as I said, I'm very happy with the way it's matured. It's gone from just a few members, sacrificing long hours, to what we have now, which is very healthy, in my opinion. So, as I said, I always have the feedback form going. If you have any feedbacks, hit there. It can be anonymous if you want. You can leave your name and then that's it. Otherwise, my chamber doors is open. Thank you.
Harley needs talk power.
I got it. Sorry. Really fast, I wanted to touch on some of the communication concerns that the community had. It seemed like that was one of the biggest things we kept hearing in the feedback, was that lack of communication. So I just wanted to let you know that we did talk about it, and these are some of the things going on. Bug reports are gone through weekly by the dev team. A lot of times the devs ask for more information and don't get it. We notice that it's because the OP may not be getting notified when a comment is added. And so the developers will now tag, and we'll try and stay up on that. Make sure to comment on all of them and make sure you guys are seeing that. But they do go through it. All three of them go through them at least weekly. So they also added a resolved section for suggestions and bug trackers. So to clear up some of that clutter that you may see, there's, you know, it's not as much as it normally looks. There's not as many things going on. We report cop misconduct through command to promote more RP through investigation, but also follow up with the person who reported. So this goes to both sides, the community and our command teams of PD, FD, and the DOJ. If you guys are noticing any misconduct through officers, EMT, or attorneys, make sure to report it to the higher commands, and also promote the RP through investigation. And then admin staff misconduct can be reported anonymously through the issues tab, and it is looked at by and reviewed by myself. Floppy looks at it. You know, we try to make sure that if there's an issue, we are getting it resolved and that people aren't feeling uncomfortable in the community. So please speak up if you're feeling somebody's doing something that you're not sure is right or you're uncomfortable, so that we can address it. Some of the things we talked about were the server changes. These things will start being implemented after the wipe. We'll do patch notes before they're pushed, so that people can be prepared. We'll try to do teaser videos or more notices about the changes within the week before changes implemented, so that you can see what it's going to be, get some feedback from our testers and what's going on. Those are things we're going to try to do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that better. Any voting we will try to do on the forums, and with enough time for everyone to get a good vote in. The rules are going to be reviewed and revised over the next little bit. Make sure that we don't have a bunch of duplicates, because we did notice some of those. We've also added a link to the San Andreas laws on our rules page, so that those are easier to find now. Also, please be sure to check those regularly, and be familiar with them. We are going to put the donation meter bar back up, and get a new breakdown of monthly costs. That may take some time for us to get up, but we will get that. The last thing I wanted to talk about, sorry if you guys can hear my child in the background, is the bios. Just wanted to give out a reminder, we don't need a lengthy background. We just need basic personality information, 100 words, and 1 bio per character. So if you have multiple characters under the same bio, you will need to split those up. We'll give you guys a grace period to do that. And then on the bio information tutorial that was posted, there is a very easy template to follow that can get you through it very quickly and get you your 100 words. No problem, okay? And that's it as far as the communication. We'll try to make sure that we're getting those patch notes up and keeping you guys informed the best we can from all of us. If you have any questions.
Just another thing on bios. There's no limit on length. They can go into as much detail as they want. Obviously, there's the 100-word minimum, but there is no maximum. You could go on forever if you want.
Yeah, 100 words is just the minimum. There's a couple of us that are using them to continue journals, or they did want to do the lengthy background with a lot more detail about who they are and why they act the way they do. There is no limit. You know, this is RP, and if you can get that really good in-depth story behind you, that's fantastic. And that's all for me. I'm out of here.
All right, then we'll go back to your guys' questions. If you have any more, someone can post that link again. Someone asked if a helmet visor toggle will ever be a thing.
The hell are they talking about, is all I have to say about that.
Or maybe being able to, like, put on a hat, take it off, put on a helmet, take it off, that kind of thing.
So in a previous community meeting, that was something that was stated as being planned to be able to toggle them on and off.
To toggle them on and off, yeah, that's one thing, but to actually change the specifics of the actual helmet you're wearing, unless there's something out there already that I could actually see an example of, I doubt it. Functions in GTAO? Like online or orange? It's something that it would have to be looked into.
Someone said pole dance emote, please.
We'll see.
And I will second that by saying I think everyone would like more emotes.
Yeah, I do
But
want to add more emotes.
there's a lot.
Yeah, so just for an example, let me see if I can do this quickly while I'm talking. There are approximately 34,568 animations possible in Grand Theft Auto. No, Darcy. Oh, I lied. It's 35,460.
Someone asked, can we make it a rule that you cannot freely give away large sums of money without a descriptive RP situation that would make sense on both sides?
I know, right? Shift.
To me, that kind of sounds like roleplay over roleplay, but I'll let Creighton or Nick comment on that.
What a what? Large giveaway large, like in what sense?
I'm guessing like me giving you 30,000, or you giving me $30,000 just for no reason.
That kind of sounds like roleplay over roleplay.
That's yep. Will civs ever be able to escort other civs? No.
We barely trust you guys with zip ties.
Like, there's so much room for abuse for that. And the people who do have it right now, which is PD and EMS, they have very strict SOPs where they will pretty much insta-fired if they abuse the escorting system. So
Just kind of talking on the community side of things, improve the overall RP and the trustability in the community, and you'll get fancy things like that.
will there ever be another wipe? And if so, will there be any incentive for time invested / wasted? As far as I know, Floppy said before he left that this will be the last one. That this will count as final release.
This was always planned to be the very last wipe ever.
I mean, we've been
wipe?
talking about this since the new year, so it's not like you guys didn't know it was coming. Just gonna say that.
With the wipe, are characters that have been perma'd able to be revived?
Yes.
That would make no sense in RP though.
But it's a wipe.
It's not a
But
story wipe,
it's not
though.
a memory wipe or a story wipe.
Oh, is it not a story wipe? Then never mind. I retract what I said.
So no, if your character is dead, then they're dead.
Someone asked, when will the wipe happen? Thursday.
Do we know what specific time on Thursday?
At one of the restarts.
Wow.
Which one? Surprise.
Who knows?
I'd say
Anybody want to start a lottery? To guess.
Next one is directed
Exactly,
towards.
That is very
I believe
true.
Yuri will be the best one to answer this. Or one of PD. When EMS PD are not going to make it before the storm at the 15-minute mark, can they let people know if they're going to come back into the server / come in to at least help the people who are down, that there was not enough time for them to receive medical attention? Example, I request EMS and sit on the ground for 30 minutes. 15-minute mark comes, so all EMS PD clock out. I come back after the storm and no EMS or PD are coming back in, so I'm now still laying on the ground. Can we maybe find a way to communicate to the request being made and or at least get to the people who had requested long before storm?
You want to take that, Yuri? I don't know how it is on the EMS side of things, but if PD doesn't come back in, when you're down, I don't know if you can tweet. But if you can always tweet out and ask us to come back in afterwards.
I think it depends on the downstate. That is something I could have medics start doing if they're gonna come back in after a storm. Kind of send a little tweet or add out, hey, for anyone that is down during the storm, we'll come back for you after the reset or something like that. But there is like no guarantee that they are going to come back. But that is something I'll bring up and try to have them start doing, kind of communicate a bit more of, you know, if we're backed up, hey, we're coming to you guys, sorry for the delay, etc., etc.
I mean, I think me and Yuri can probably come to an agreement with Bidwell and some other people in PD command to where if you're down right before the storm, we'll probably, you know, check back in 10 minutes after the storm happened to make sure we get everybody that's down. You could probably work on that.
Yeah, we'll definitely explore some things we could do there for the last 15-minute people that just have like random accidents, like locals crashing into you and you just eject out of your car or something crazy like that. So. And yes, as someone mentioned, if there happen to be no more EMS or PD coming on, that you always have the airlift option. It's always there. I know I don't believe you can airlift and incapacitate it at the moment. I'll kind of talk with Floppy, see if he's open to allowing an airlift in that state. But we'll just kind of have to wait on his answer for that.
Can we write notes and leave them in storage boxes? Has anyone
I guess that's a me.
tried it?
No, it's not possible in storage boxes yet, just because with the new inventory system, it's going to have to be rewritten, and again, it diverts to my juniorness, I guess you could call it, in coding. I'll have to basically rewrite that portion for being able to hand notes to people and having, like Floppy said, how phones, each phone will be its own separate entity. Each note will be its own separate entity as well. So once that's finalized, I'll have to get it figured out, but don't expect it anytime soon, but it will eventually come. Also notes on people's windshields and stuff, maybe.
On that, with the new inventory system, yes, you'll be able to write notes. You'll be able to leave them anywhere, and you'll be able to pick them up and read them again afterwards.
We'd already have the note system in, which I just did as a surprise because I was like, hey, I'm bored, I'm going to make it.
Where do we go if we have an idea that we'd like to be added? It's on the forums if anyone wants to link that person. Prostitution, question mark? Don't need a mechanic for that. That's all I'm gonna say.
No exclamation point.
Someone asked, have you guys come up with any ideas if people are hurt when there's no EMS or PD on, / possible to double or more the blood regeneration when there's no cops EMS that are clocked in? I know we were discussing it before, but I don't think we came to like a hard decision on it yet.
There is actually technically something that does do it, but I'm not going to say what it is and let people find out in RP from other people.
Value your life.
Wait, are they wiping phone numbers? If so, very sad face. Yes, I mean, pretty much everything, all your cars, everything.
Just so you're aware, Floppy will pop some answers in the sheets.
Okay.
For some of these questions.
He said that the blood regeneration thing, very possible, staff will discuss it. Phone numbers are going to be wiped. Looks like he's typing an answer to this one, so I'll read it.
Yeah, with that one, we need examples and stuff.
Okay. Someone asked, there are a lot of things that we as a community can't have simply because we aren't trusted with it. Isn't that why we have a player report banning system? Why are we all punished because of speculation that someone will abuse it? That's probably in reference to the civs escorting other civs.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Because, and I've seen it a lot myself, and I'm not just being salty, that when they make a complaint to someone specifically verbally, they get told make a player complaint on the forums, and they don't do it. Same with bug reports. I broke him. I broke him, chat. Sandra, what it means is like, what were you doing at the time? And describe the situation. Yeah, like, what were you doing at the time? So say you were, for example, say you're driving your car and you hit something and your seatbelt graphic user information all goes away. Well, if you just say it just went away and you give no explanation as to why, then that really doesn't make sense to me as a developer. Like, I need to know what led up to that so that I could attempt to duplicate it.
Also, if I could say something real quick.
Go ahead.
So if you notice something that seems a little bit wonky or different than what you're expecting, pull up the console. It's you press F8 and then take a picture of it. Usually in the code we do print out little messages that help us figure out where in the code things may have broken.
Actually, I have a lot of screenshots I can give examples of. Give me a sec. Give me a few minutes though.
I don't want to interrupt anything, but I do have to take off here in a couple of minutes. Is there any DOJ?
Nope.
Well, this will be cool. All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm gonna hand it off to Ruby to answer me.
I don't know what the hell he said.
Floppy did add another response to the escorting players thing. He said, I am currently considering adding the ability for whitelisted players to escort other players that are medically incapable of moving on their own. But that'll be something that will be discussed. And just to make sure that this gets on the thing, so Floppy knows what was just said. Lexia said, could be a limited escort for civs. The one needing escort would have to be down. They would get a prompt on their screen to ask if they approved the escort or not. Also, could be limited distance. Is there any more questions though? Because that is all that's in the sheets right now. So anything last minute?
Okay, so just a quick interjection while there's moment of silence. Going back to the hitting F8 to enter your console to see what errors there are. There's an example of pushing F8 and seeing what we're looking for when it comes to an error. Which for my chat, I'll show you. So there's going to be a whole bunch of random things. The main thing we're going to be looking for is basically error running call reference function for a resource, whatever. And that'll actually, does it say in here? Yeah, so like you can see in that picture specifically, it says a couple lines down, client/main.lua 200. That actually gives us an exact location as to where the the problem might be coming from. It'll make squashing bugs a lot easier.
All right, looks like the last question is, until the wipe, what are we going to do for the oh, not the last question, just kidding. Until the wipe, what are we going to do for the next 4 days? Have fun.
Continue
Spend
to
your
RP?
money.
Yeah.
Hang out with people, do fun stuff together that, you know, it's not about making money right now. It's just have fun. I remember that's what happened. That's what happened last time. We had a wipe. Everyone just a bunch of parties, like end of the world parties, whatever. It was
spend your
just
money.
Everyone having fun, spending time with each other.
All right, quickly to go back and touch on escorting. The current way it's going to be planned is they have to be either down or approve of being escorted if they're not down. And additionally, you'd only be able to move them at a very slow walk pace as long as you have stamina. Stamina would drain while you're escorting if you're not a cop or EMS.
Oh my god, I'm working on like 16 things at once. Umbrellas.
This one will wait for a floppy answer. Gaddington, so I'll give that one a minute.
I can
Or do you wanna
elaborate on
answer
the. I can elaborate on the next 4 days until the wipe.
Okay.
There will be server 1 will most likely be updated with features that are going to be in for the wipe, and they'll be open to testing to everyone, so that everyone will be able to see how things are going to play out after the wipe as well.
One more thing on that. If you do go on one of the test servers, more than likely your character will break. So be mindful of that. So if you play on a character that you don't normally play on until the wipe happens, yeah.
And if your character does break, remember to hit the F8, look for that line I sent, and let us know.
Just to reiterate for anyone that's confused, I am communicating for Floppy, so if some answers are delayed occasionally, I do apologize, but it's what Floppy wants to communicate.
So would you be like Moses then?
I guess. I guess.
Someone asked about shared things, shared bank accounts, permanent keys to the houses for multiple people.
I'm not 100%, but I think when Floppy made it so that you can share access to your house, he wanted it to be persistent. But I don't see why that would be an issue. As for banks, though, that's a different thing.
The access to houses should be persistent. If it's not, is there a bug report on it?
As far as shared bank accounts, there is something possibly going in that's not a bank account, it's slightly different than that.
Okay, shared bank accounts are a planned feature. Floppy started development on the system a little while ago. It just needs more work.
Okay. Can cops get hard cuffs? Many times with people being trolls and running around when they are told they're being handcuffed to a bar or something like that, just keep walking away, and having to escort to hold them still in a cell does not make sense. Number 1, report them. It's fail RP.
Chris? Yeah. Okay.
Are they going to add more houses or limit them to 1 per user? We kind of went over this already. It's going to be there that there's multiple in the same location, and each will be their own instance, so you can have like 10 apartments on the same location and no one will run into each other.
Okay, just to touch on bank accounts again. Sorry. Basically, it's going to be a unique account every player can have as many accounts as they want, and basically, more details will come up as it gets developed.
Can the last storm be a purge? No.
The hell do you mean a purge? Oh, I get what he means.
Like the movie Purge.
Yeah, it's not GTA Online.
Yeah.
I'd be
if you want to
totally
do
down for
Purge,
doing that.
no. I guess okay. Maybe like the last 5 minutes, but no, not the last storm. It's insane.
Everyone meet at Legion Square. Get your shotguns out.
I'm just gonna go up to people and start executing them.
Can you
police are
give the
looking for a new
ability to give
chief.
others car keys?
That would be interesting with the new inventory system that Floppy's working on. That actually could be a possibility. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just going to say it could be a possibility.
All right, last call for questions.
Last call for alcohol, chat. That'd be interesting, Stern Select. God, I should probably look into my chat every once in a while.
In regards to car keys, yeah, as Rob said, it is going to be possible. It may very well go at some point, but as of right now, it's not a priority to get in.
I just want to put it out there that if you're trying to compare our features with other communities' features, just keep in mind that we have a very small dev team. I don't know if am I? There we go. Don't know if did anything I just said went through or no? About putting it out there. No? Okay. Just want to put it out there that if you're comparing our community's features with other communities' features, just keep in mind that we do have a very small development team. We do as much as we can to not only make new features that people like and are usable, but squash the bugs that go along with them. With Amelia coming in now, it's a lot more plausible too. Like I said, we've been trying to keep up as much as we can. Floppy's got a full-time job. I do as much as I can with the amount of resources I have, and just be patient. We're trying to get in as much as we can without breaking as much.
All right, well, looks like it was all of the questions, so thanks to everyone for coming. Sandra, your question we already addressed. All of the rules are going to be looked at again. That's on the staff-wide to-do list right now. But anyways, thanks everyone for coming. We'll let you guys know for May's meetings. We're probably going to do the same thing since we'll get your guys' feedback on how, these focused and then staff and then this kind of meeting, how you guys liked that. And then we'll be planning out for May.
Oil drives.
A quick final note from Floppy. If there's any budding developers out there that, want to help out, then got the skills, please apply.
I'll post
Yep,
a link.
support apps are open. Support apps are open. Dev apps are open. If you want to help test, those are still open. EMS is open. PD is open. If you're thinking about
and-
it, just go for it.
And just one last thing, Floppy will be around on the website for the next few hours. So if there's any questions, he said you can hit him up in the shout box, and he'll try and get back to you.
Allergy? Hmm.
All right, is that the meeting?
That is it.
Bye, chat. Thanks for stopping by. I'm actually going to pass you off to someone first.
So
Let's
if I
see who's
remove the
streaming.
talk power restriction, are we going to be able to talk, or is everyone going to talk over each other?
Guarantee everyone's going to talk over each
Like,
other.
One way to
find
find
out,
out.
shall we?
All right, you're all going to go
I wanna stop
to
recording
stick
first.
name Tony Baloney? No,
Oh
you're
god,
not.
yeah.
Oh, let's find out who's streaming on Revo. Nobody, I don't think. Well, fuck it. We're gonna go check out Ratty.
LTD is in service.
Good luck.
Kyle,
Thank you for coming
go
by.
for it.
Hopefully,
Go
I
for
can.
it.
I am not
fuck.
saying re.
Hopefully, I can get back to streaming actual shit later. Very soon. But in the meantime, take care. Stay safe. Love you. I don't know if that did anything. Damn it. Hang on. Oh, apparently it is going through. Alrighty then.
That one keeps coming up.